time to the gentlelady from Tennessee, Ms. Harshbarger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here, Secretary. The Commerce Department's Assistant Secretary for Travel and Tourism is responsible for helping promote the tourism industry in the United States. In Tennessee, our music heritage has long been a draw for visitors across the country, specifically in Northeast Tennessee, my hometown. We have Bristol, the birthplace of country music, and the Northeast Tennessee is also home of Dolly Parton. We have a world-renowned theme park, Dollywood, in Pigeon Forge. And today, Congresswoman Barragan and myself introduced the American Music Tourism Act and legislation to explicitly include the promotion of music tourism in the role of the Assistant Secretary for Travel and Tourism. We think it's just common sense to recognize tourism as a catalyst for U.S. economic development. It's a fast-growing industry for the entire country, with projections estimating it will generate more than $11 billion in revenue by 2032. Does this sound like legislation you'd be willing to work with me to get signed into law?
Absolutely. First, I do have to say I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan.
Great.
I had the opportunity to meet her a few years ago in Rhode Island. I was the governor, and she came to the folk festival, and I was totally starstruck.
Yeah.
But besides that, yes, I mean, we've talked with a lot of members today about how important it is. These are good jobs. There's a misperception that tourism jobs are low-quality jobs.
Yes, ma'am.
And that isn't true.
Exactly.
So I would absolutely love to work with you in a bipartisan way. I'll follow up with you and
Yes,
see if I can
please
help.
do. That would be great. The National Marine Fisheries Service, which is part of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration at the Department of Commerce, is working on a biological opinion resulting from an Endangered Species Act, Section 7 consultation request from the Department of Interior to assess potential impacts to endangered species in the Gulf of Mexico, and as a result of Department of Interior permitted oil and natural gas activities. Is the National Marine Fisheries Service still on schedule to complete the biological opinion in early 2025, as was previously indicated?
Let me find you, I don't know off the top of my head, but I will get back to you later today.
Yeah, that would be great. And the next question is, the National Marine Fisheries Service is also slated to publish the final rule designating the Rice's whale critical habitat in the Gulf of Mexico in the coming months. The designated area will be analyzed by the National Marine Fisheries Service and could be used as a reason to impose restrictions on oil and gas activities in the critical habitat area. It could also lead to severe disruptions for other marine industries. And my understanding is that there's little evidence to suggest that the Rice's whale is present in any meaningful capacity in the central and western Gulf of Mexico. And imposing harmful restrictions on Gulf users could even have more safety implications for Gulf mariners. In your opinion, is there sufficient science on Rice's whales to determine critical habitat, or are you familiar with that?
I am very familiar with this. This is in the middle of an active rulemaking, so I really am not permitted to comment on the details. Here's what I promise you. We're committed to following the science. We are reading every comment and engaging broadly with stakeholders, and we are committed to finding that right balance between, I'm the Commerce Secretary, commerce, enabling commerce, and also, though, like I said, following the science.
Yeah, we don't want to stifle these guys who make a living in the Gulf, so that would be great. The last question that I have time for is, the United States is a world leader in the development and deployment of Open RAN wireless networks. And as we know, the Commerce Department, through NTIE, continues to administer the Public Supply Chain Innovation Fund to help entrants enter the Open RAN ecosystem. And my question is, what additional steps can you and the administration take to ensure that we remain the world leader of Open RAN networks?
Yeah, thank you. So for those of you who aren't totally familiar with O-RAN, this is how we compete with China. Huawei is all over the world because it's cheap. Go to Latin America, Asia, they all buy Huawei because it's cheap. We need them to buy American. And so the secret to that is O-RAN, the software. It allows us a product which is competitive. So we are putting grants out. I'll get back to you and let you know exactly where we are. I know I don't want to say the wrong thing. We're working hard to get the money out the door. It's a new technology, so what we need to do is work with companies and entrepreneurs to quickly develop the technology so they can deploy it. As far as I'm concerned, we have to develop as fast as possible so we can be competitive.
Well, I look forward to you getting back with me. And with that, I yield back.